I remember being so humbled when I started to do psychedelic somatic integration work. I had these PhD, we'll call them, experiences of oneness with the universe. I would leave and go to tier 3, and it was extraordinary. But what I'd bypassed, what I'd skipped, was tier 1. And getting my bachelor's, let's say, and really learning to feel feelings and integrate them in my body. I'd left my body. And as a result, I hadn't been able to create the life, the relationships, the self-worth, the inner peace, the success, all the things that I desired, because I just wanted to get to the goal. I just wanted to get to the outcome. I didn't want to have to feel anything. And I'm reminded of, I hope you enjoyed part 1 with Krista of Almost 30 on the podcast. And as our conversation goes on into part 2, we go deeper into that, feminine sexual energy that you can't just go there. You've got to first sort of get clear and I'm in my masculine. I'm trying to control everything. I'm terrified to surrender. And until we integrate that, can we truly drop into our body and experience our sexuality not as I'm a piece of meat, or sexuality as a manipulation to get something, truly experience the divine and that incredible rapturous energy in, as, and through us. It takes something. It takes a preparation. It takes doing the initial work first so that we can be ready to receive. We can be ready to receive. Very similar to my, I have 2 programs, Become the One Mastery and Find the One Mastery, or Awaken the One Mastery. So there's part 1, part 2. And so all of us really just want to find the one. Let's just find the one. And we all know that if we come into a relationship, having not learned from the last relationship, or as I say, become the one and created secure attachment within yourself, you're going to look to your partner for attachment. All your needs, your attachment needs. I'm no different. So that's why I walk my talk, and I have developed Become the One. And even before Become the One Mastery, we even have a program before that, Become the One Intro, because we all need to start at the very beginning. So check it out, Become the One Intro, and really enjoy this part 2 of the podcast with Krista, how one part builds on the next and builds on the next as we, as the feminine, evolve into our greatest queen. We need to go back and honor and take care of and heal our wounded princess before we have any chance of becoming the goddess that we are. Okay, let's get the door. Let's get the door. Welcome to Intimate Conversations. Become the one. Intimacy is an inside job.
A lot of the men that I grew up around were fathers that were absent, fathers that were emotionally unavailable, fathers that weren't really in their masculine either. So we have this dynamic that we're witnessing of women being burnt out, over-functioning, overcompensating, and weak men.
Yeah.
So the women that I'm working with don't have access to their sexuality or their pleasure or their yoni or feel their body or allow themselves to be in their body enough to relax and receive, love. And so it's been really fascinating because I feel like we're having to work on the self-love first, where we can say, we love ourselves enough to not do it all. We love ourselves enough to be perfect, not be perfect. We love ourselves enough to relax and rest and not burn out. Yeah. And then I feel like there's going to be a movement, which I think you're leading a lot in a lot of ways, to sexuality eventually. But for a lot of women, they're not really there yet.
Yeah. It's really great what you're saying, that we think we are leading with our hearts. We're so busy and we're of service and we're contributing, but really it's ego, in my opinion, running the show out of terror, because if we let go, we will panic beyond measure. So we surrender, oh, hell no. But sexuality in an honoring relationship is about surrendering to that energy, not just of your partner, but to the divine. And if we can't surrender and feel the embodied sense of being held by the divine, there's no fucking way we're going to let go of control, pleasure, whatever. Where's my vibrator? Let's just get off and go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing is, God, I was talking to God the other day because I'm in these dynamics with men, which I really like, where there's a lot of desire. And I was like talking, I was like, God, I'm ready to like hook up more, blah, blah, blah. Like said it in other ways, but I was like, I'm ready. And God's like, you love being in desire. Why do you always want it to end? And it's that feeling of like that feeling of that tension where you're with a man or a woman and you're feeling like, ooh, what's going to happen? Like, I desire you, you desire me, and you're kind of in that energy. But so many of us just want to masturbate to get it off, just want to have sex right away, just want to like use the vibrator, just want it to end because we
Mm,
want to get the reward of things, but we don't want to stay in the energetics and the play of the energy and give ourselves enough space to like experience things.
yeah.
Because we're in that mind of like the checklist, like having sex is the checklist, doing this is the checklist. We just want it all to end because we want that gratification. And so
Well,
much of life is about the dance of it all.
yeah. Fuck yes. Because masculine energy needs the outcome, needs it to end. Feminine energy is allowance, receptivity, wonder, right? And it takes a lot of bravery, not strength, but bravery and courage to surrender and let go. I am still a work in progress, always will be, but I'm in a place now where it's like, how can I make love with life? How can I not wait for genital copulation to surrender, to play, to be penetrated, to penetrate, to be all of my masculine and feminine energies and have this deliciousness all day long? And it's nourishing to my central nervous system.
Yeah.
It's inviting to people like something about your energy and it attracts, thank God, finally, a very healthy partner.
I mean, that's heavenly. The
Yeah,
nervous system thing that you mentioned too is huge. I mean, we can't ignore the body and the nervous system. And so many people are in a heightened nervous system, fight or flight nervous system. And
totally.
with that, you can't relax. You can't
No.
relax into your body. You can't feel orgasm. You can't be like in your bigness and your fullness and your richness. So, a lot of the ability to feel pleasure is self love, is a lot of inner work, but a lot of it's body. It's not
Mm,
doing hit workouts all the time. It's not drinking caffeine all the time. It's grounding on the earth. It's doing
mm,
slower things. It's taking baths. It's like
yeah.
really being with the physical vehicle instead of just kind of glossing it over and then wanting to like rub genitals when you have sex, like you said.
Yeah, totally. And for me, as I slowed down, I met the terrified little you. That's who
Mm,
I met. She
yeah.
was sure everyone was out to get her. She was sure there was going to be a bad ending. She was sure she had to be 3 steps ahead to be safe. She was so convinced that if she wasn't hypervigilant all the time,
Yes.
shit was going to go down. So it was a reprogramming. It was an integration of my autonomic nervous system. It was practice. And it's also like a daily practice. Like it's not like I don't get scared anymore. I just have a different way of not leaving and disassociating and checking out and going, I'm just going to, excuse me, I'm going to go to the bathroom for a second. And I literally sit on the toilet and I hold my heart, my gut, my yoni, wherever she is. Maybe it's my throat. She doesn't want to speak up. Wherever I hold her. And I go, you've got every right to feel this way. And I don't try to fix her or make her feel better or make her confident. I just go, you know what? I got you. Take as long as you need. And that honor of self, respect of self, acknowledgement that I have every right to feel this way. Who the hell knows? I don't know if you believe in past lives, but maybe my head was chopped off last time or I was burned at the
Yep.
stake. Like, I don't know what my body went through. She has
Yep.
every right to be scared right now. And we'll also be brave in divine time and we will move forward. We will be bigger than anyone and anything in any circumstance. We will not be a victim, but I
Mhm.
will also not bash her. Oh, I
Yeah.
was such a good basher before.
Oh, I know. I mean, we've learned from the best. I think all of us women, that's how we commune by talking crap about each other, by talking crap about ourselves. Like we
Mm,
just cut, 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 and we find space in that. And I think what you said is so powerful because when we feel the negative feeling of fear, of shame, of guilt, of whatever, we often want to change it. And I think that's where spirituality and personal growth kind of gets it wrong is that desire to be like, oh no, little girl, you feel fear. Let's go. We're going to do this and we're going to step forward and we're going to do this. Like, yeah, exactly. You bypass
yeah.
the actual feeling. In Strength to Love by MLK Jr., one of my favorite quotes he says is to love your enemies is to love them as they are, not because you want to change them. And I feel like if we are to truly love someone or something or a part of us ourselves, we love it as it is. We love
That's
it
the,
in the mess. We love it in the
yep.
crazy. We love it in the whatever, not
Yep.
with like the secret, insidious desire to be like, I love you, but I want you to be different. It's like,
Right. Right.
no, we
Yeah.
want it to love it as it is. It will
Yeah.
alchemize and free and breathe
Yes.
as we do that, but it's huge.
100%. That is the key for little you work with my clients is that we're going to go in there and love her as a hot mess ashamed as fuck, and we're not going to change her. We're just going to get to know her. We're going to let her know that we have her back even now, even if she never changes for eternity.
Yep.
And you're right, it is an alchemy. It's grace. It's God's grace that just comes through. You don't have to do anything.
Yep.
You just need to be the space of that homecoming.
Yeah.
Loving your enemies. My mom died at 61
Mm.
of cancer, and I watched her, I'm going to say, not integrate anger at herself and others. And I think it took her down. I have a distant relationship with my father and sister, to what works for me. And if it doesn't, then I communicate. So I really have created family for myself for the last several decades. To the degree you're willing to share, how are you choosing to be with your family in a way that works for you as you are going through this deep transformation?
Wow, what a powerful question. I think to lay the foundation. So in my family unit, it's four: my sister, myself, my father, and my mother. My parents separated when I went to college. They were married for 33 years and got divorced. And that was a surprise to me, but in the end, it worked out great. They're still friends. They had their issues. But my family has always felt like I wasn't myself. I didn't feel like I fit. I always felt like kind of the outcast among them. And so it was never a place and space where I felt really calm, at ease, myself, expanded. It always felt like a little bit like a hypervigilance all the time. It always felt like a little bit like, who do I have to be loved?
Yeah.
So in the period of really, I think when I was actually younger, probably in my 20s, of really becoming who I was, I had to completely distance myself from them, especially with my mother relationship. So that really challenging relationship for me, I had to take a break from for a few years. We would talk intermittently, but it was more of an energetic break where I could pull myself away energetically to calibrate to the person that I was meant to be. Because I
Stunning.
think what's happening is you're getting stuck in this web of energy where you all are subconsciously committing to dynamics that are keeping you all safe and small. And if you're going to stay that forever, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, psychically, or spiritually, then you're committing to staying in that dynamic. So you have to oftentimes a rupture, a dissolving, a pull out of yourself of that dynamic to calibrate to your own unique essence and purpose. And so I had to do that when I was younger, in college, in my 20s. And then as I've gotten older, it's been something that I continue to find my footing with, and I continue to find myself with. But there is oftentimes the muscle memory I have when we're together where I will be really quiet. I won't talk. I won't express. I won't have big emotions or big feelings or needs because I'm so used to doing that in our dynamic. And what I do with that is I love, honor, and accept the part of me that completely disassociates still with my family and just move on. I don't take it seriously. I don't try and change it. I don't try and be perfect. Because as a last thing, what I realized I was doing is I was trying to go with my family from completely disassociating, not feeling like myself, to I want to be the fullest expression of me. I want to be me all the time. I want to be in my authenticity all the time.
Yeah, but they can't receive that.
They can't receive that. They're not able to metabolize. So I just try and move up a little bit. How can I
Yeah.
be a little bit more myself? How can I be a
Yeah.
little bit more loving? How can I be
Yeah.
a little bit more present? And just ask for, grace for myself the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a place of power is that when we don't get triggered and don't disassociate, we have total choice. We can kind of feel, I'm talking to a wall. There's no point in me saying anything. They can't receive it. And is this a contribution to my life to be with them? And I'm so glad you're willing to speak about this, because there's this, I mean, if somebody would rape you, you don't go for lunch with them. But if families abuse you, we go for Thanksgiving every year. I'm like, what if you don't? What if you're busy? What if we could create new family that honors us, and we don't by obligation have to continue to put ourselves through this? It's very politically incorrect. But when I left home, I left from Canada all the way to Tokyo because I needed to get very far away. And that was healthy. And now I've created a new family. So what would you say to people who continue to get, triggered with family? Do you advise them to lower their amount of contact or even cut it off for a while?
Yeah, I think when I think about it and what you just mentioned when you went to Tokyo and what I had to do as a process psychologically called, this, but individuation. So you actually have to leave the home. It's part of the hero's journey. You leave the home. to
Yep.
individuate. So this is a very natural part of your process. Oftentimes we have to hate them so much, have so much issue with them to have enough courage to individuate, to
Yep.
create
Yep.
our own lives, to become our own self. So it's actually
Right.
very normal. It's very healthy to have that
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
Um, I always am curious about when people are continuing to go back to the dynamic of their family that's really painful and hurtful and harmful.
Yep.
How is it serving you? So
Right.
it and they'll say it's not, it's miserable, it hurts, but you have to be honest with yourself because there's something that it's giving you if you're going back.
Yeah.
What is
You're
it?
getting a hit.
You're going to hit.
Yeah.
Either you're getting a hit of I'm so much better than them,
Mm.
I am so much more processed than them, I am, whatever it is, maybe it's comfort, maybe it's safety, maybe it's whatever the feeling is,
Mm-hmm.
really getting honest with yourself about how it's serving you. And
Mm.
just remembering, I think something that's helped me so much is that when I think about my patterns and the stories that I'm in, I think about the neural pathways. So,
Yep.
as an example, with my family, when I would disassociate, I can't be myself. I would think that, wow, there's this really strong neural pathway that's been created from a very young age that my brain likes to take because it's easy. But
Yep.
now at this moment in time, I'm creating a new neural pathway that's going to be a
Yep.
pathway of expression or love or whatever it is. And
Mm.
so it's very normal that I'm acting in this way with my family. And right now I'm building new neural pathways. So
Right.
giving yourself grace that it's very normal you're acting the way you are acting, how you're feeling, and that you're building new neural pathways.
Yeah.
And then as just a last thing for people, spending time with their family, I think it's truly something that you have to remember that if you want to live a life of your own path and your own blueprint and your own experience outside of your family, like if you're not going to choose yourself now, when? You
Yeah.
have to choose yourself. You have to
Yeah.
choose your own unique path and expression. You cannot live under the guise of this family unit that is keeping you small. Like
Yeah.
imagine dying and being like, oh my God, I never became who I was meant to be because I was scared of what my
Right.
family would say.
Oh, devastating. Yeah.
Devastating. I mean, heartbreaking. And the thing is, from a soul level, your souls, your parents' souls are like, I want you to live yourself. They're scared. I know the humans are scared, but we want you to
Right.
be who you are. Humans
For
are scared.
sure.
We want you to be who you are. So
Yeah.
from the soul level, there's nothing more that the souls of your family want is for you to be yourself.
Completely. Yeah. I used to go back to the family for them to finally see me, finally love me,
Mm.
finally whatever. And I would do the same with men and I would do the same with work. Like it was everywhere. How I did anything is how I did everything. And when I was like, okay, enough, we're going to go inward and we're going to have all of this alignment. The juice of going back was it dissolved. And those unemotional guys weren't so sexy anymore. And trying to get that client that took how many calls to get them to finally sign up and then they were a pain in the ass. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's not work together. Like it was everywhere, thank God. Everything got a lot more healthy, honoring, smooth, easy, delicious. And I think you're so right about let's do that first. And then when we embrace our sacred sexual energy from that place, it really is a very high vibration to invite creativity, healing, and a beloved. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because, if you don't have touch with your inner child, your inner self, your little being, and
Mm,
you don't have a sense of safety in your body just from a physical level,
mm,
you cannot calibrate to the energy of sacred sexuality in the
mm.
way that we're meant to. You
Yeah.
have to be foundational. You have to
Yeah.
be watered, slept, nourished. You have to mother and parent yourself
Mm,
as a child before you're really going to like take it to the moon
yeah.
with sexual energy because it's a frequency. And from a
Totally.
frequency level, if your body can't handle and calibrate to normal levels of frequency,
No,
you're
you
never
can't
going to be
hold.
able to calibrate to the depths of your sacred sexuality. So I think it's really important that you start with the foundational aspects of parenting yourself and of being with your little being.
Totally. You make a really good point because even if you met the one, but you
Yes.
hadn't cultivated those roots for the shoots, you'd lose them. You'd lose them.
Yep.
So it's good for now, but it's good for the future as well. Back to this retreat that's coming up and how
Oh,
people
yeah.
with the mother wound, I want to know more about this Divine Mother retreat. I'll put this all in the show notes, everybody, but it's May 24th to 29th in Portugal. Yeah, what
Yeah.
can they expect?
Well, what's your relationship with your mother? What was that journey like for you?
As I said, she died at 61. I would say
Right.
she was my best friend at the
Oh,
time.
bless.
So it was hardest to lose her because everyone else didn't see me, but she did. And she was
Yes.
willing to do the work and was willing to see some different possibilities. It was just too late. Her body it was just too far gone with all of it. But
Mhm.
we went shopping for vibrators together. She came to Japan to meet me. We became from mother daughter to two adults on the path of healing.
Yes. Which is huge.
Yeah.
I think that journey to becoming people, to seeing them outside of the mother archetype is even really, really important.
Yeah.
So the Divine Mother Retreat was inspired by my mother wound healing journey. And when I was started my healing path, a lot of my inspiration for that was to figure out my body issues. So I
Mm.
struggled with my body. I struggled with eating. I struggled with, just a hate and a constant like
Mm.
judgment of how I looked and how I felt
Yeah.
for years. And I thought I would die with calorie counting. I thought I would die with the desire to nip and tuck and just contort.
Yeah.
And so on that path, I really realized that the relationship with my body was modeled by my mother's relationship with her body.
Yeah.
She hated her body, would talk about it all the time. She was very hard and critical with us about our bodies. It was something that was an obsession in our house.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, if that's related to my mother, what else did I see from her?
Mm.
So the mother is the first relationship we experience in life. It is the foundation for how we experience all other relationships. We
Yeah.
are actually created in the mother's womb. So her chemicals, her hormones, her feelings,
Mm.
her emotions are part of what create us. Um,
Totally.
so when we go through life, we always use her as the reference. How is she with food? How is she with other people? How is she with love? How is she with energy? How is she with attention? So it could
Mm.
be really beautiful or it could be really challenging. And even
Mm.
if it's beautiful, there's always, kind of something. Maybe she saw sexuality weird, or maybe her and your dad were really hard. There's always a little something. But I looked at then the other ways in which I had been impacted by my mother, and that was through my codependency, the relationship with narcissists,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
me giving my power away, that was all of these things, me losing my voice at times. And I was like, whoa, this is really deep, but it felt really nice because it felt like the linchpin of everything. If I go to this will unwind. If I go to the
Yeah.
root of the onion, all the other parts will just
Yep.
kind of heal.
The
And
core.
so I became, my own inner mother through a lot of work. I had to go back to that child. I had to reparent and remother myself. I had to learn to
Yes.
forgive. I had to learn
Yes.
to process a lot of these dynamics and relationships I had been in.
Mm.
And what I want for people is to not really focus like my mom did this, my mom did that. It's not like the mother is the enemy. It's
Right.
just really looking at ourselves truthfully and seeing how we can be better parents to our inner children, better
Yeah.
parents to our
Yeah.
inner being. And then for a lot of us, stepping into the mother archetype, like stepping into the mother, and that doesn't need to have children. That's like the nurturing, grounded, powerful
Yes.
person that lives within us that has amazing boundaries and is super clear and
Yeah.
can call in the man of their dreams or live a life that they really love. And also the woman that's going to change the world, because a lot of us are just little girls kind of running around looking for hits, looking for dopamine, looking to prove ourselves,
Yep.
looking to be worthy. And we
Yep.
could all use as a collective the ability to step into that divine mother role.
Freaking love this. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. I love, so while I had a very strong relationship with my mother, it was through us both acknowledging that she had married an alcoholic and she had taught me how to be codependent. I remember her first book she gave me when I moved to Tokyo, Codependent No More, and Creative Visualization with Shakti Gawain. Like that, we began our journey to both become humbled by our behaviors and grow together. She simply passed quite early and hadn't fully gotten there yet, but I felt like she passed the torch for what she showed me, and this has become my life's work.
Wow.
So I love this. And indeed, we do need to remother ourselves, reparent ourselves. And the feminine, she's fierce. So, yes, there are
Yes.
boundaries. And
Yes.
she's tender, compassionate. And she, as we spoke also, she's juicy and alive and savors the
Yeah.
sunrise. Doesn't have to just be sexual, but it's allowing ourselves to be nurtured.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's like Mother Gaia. So I love this beautiful place you're having the retreat. So I invite you all to check this out. Her site is itskrista.com. Again, this will be in the show notes. This retreat is in May, Mother's Day, May. I love this.
Oh, I didn't even put that together, babe. There you go. You're my
Yeah.
marketing team.
Well done. Well
How
done.
about that?
Um, how would you like to complete this? I'm coming out to LA in March, by the way. I hope I can
I
have a
would love
chance to
to
have a
see
cup
you.
of coffee with
Would
you when
love
I'm
to see
there.
you.
Yeah, that would be so great.
Would love to see
How would you like to complete this from your beautiful, wise,
you. Mm,
brave, vulnerable,
mm.
um, yeah, very inspiring heart?
I think I'll just share something that I'm really working on. So it's not something I have perfect. It's just something I'm really working on thinking is
Mm,
I have so much going on in my life and it all feels so chaotic and crazy. And you know what I mean? We can all get in that. We all have such unique, diverse lives filled with so much.
mm,
And I think I've been really loving the practice of just being as much as I can in my body and just being, it just truly accepting every single thing as is.
yeah.
Girl just quit on my team. I accept that as is.
Mm,
I
mm,
feel better about this situation. I just accept that as is. And just remembering that each thing is like perfectly crafted for by our soul for us
yeah.
to experience and feel and be in. And like when you can come from the soul level and you're just like, oh my God, what is my human self doing? What is she learning right now? What are we up to? Like
Yep.
it can just be so fun. So trying our best to just accept everything as is because our pain comes when we don't. And
Yep.
then just seeing from the highest perspective of the soul and just looking at this crazy life being like, oh my God, my soul chose for me to get dumped. My soul chose for me to, try this new thing. My soul chose for me to experience this thing. And we can just have so much more fun and play with it when we see it as like this beautiful experience led by our soul just for us to have fun in.
I love this.
Mm.
I love your spiritual connection. To me, one of the biggest gifts that I've been working on recently is surrendering my ego will to divine will. Like
Give it up to
literally,
God, baby.
I gave everything over. That last relationship to this one, I said, here's my business, here's my money, here's my
Wow.
relationships. My son lives with his dad. Here's my son. Here's my body and my life. If you're
Yep.
done with me, I'm good. I have a lot of verve and energy left to give, but if you'd rather have me on the other side, I'm done thinking I know best. I will show up, I will do the work, but I give. I have my intentions and my preferences, but ultimately, I love what you're saying. If we can say, yes to everything and know that it's divine will in, as, and through us, we're unstoppable. We're free and we can play. Even through the shit, we can play. Yeah.
And if we think we know best, that's the whole thing in life. I'm like, I just want what God wants for me. All I want is what God wants for me. And I want to, and before I would have maybe said, God use me, but I would have been like, God use me if it looks like this, if it's this
Like it
checklist.
doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it was like if it uses me, if it means I'm gonna be rich and famous and hot and with the man of my dreams.
Uh-huh.
And that's
Uh-huh.
not how God works. God's like, if you
Nope.
want me to use you, I got to use you, how you're going to be used. So, on that path of that surrender, like of
Yeah.
true like belief and also just giving it up, like, oh, I don't know why this is happening, but I trust you and I trust myself. And like, there's
Yes.
nothing better in life than knowing that you're held and that it's on purpose and that you have yourself along the way.
Yeah. It's delicious. It's
Yeah, and it's so
delicious to
beautiful to hear you say that because look at your life now after you did that. You found your
correct.
partner, you're living
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
stunningly. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It was hard. It was hard to let all of that go. It was terrifying. It was humiliating. Everything I'd built for 20 years, gone. The money, everything crashed. No son, nothing. And and I said, okay, well then I have me, I have you. Let's rock and roll. What do you want? And then literally, inspiration, go move to North Carolina. Inspiration, go on match.com, meet the love of my life. Honey, it's only been 6 months. It is so fast now that we're in 5D. When we surrender it over and we ascend, there's no time like we knew it before. And can I love myself enough to receive it? It was just my birthday 2 days ago. I have never had a more joyful birthday ever because I could receive it. I knew I was worthy and I didn't need to be more, better, different. I'm a
Yes.
hot mess and I'm magnificent. I'm everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's so worth the journey.
Oh,
Thank you
happy
for being
birthday,
such a
honey.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a deep, beautiful woman. I look forward to seeing you and your cat.
You got our divine feline.
Oh, I have Muffin. Don't you worry. She, 18 years
This
old.
one,
She's so
I was psychically like, babe, I need a break. We need a moment, but doesn't care.
doesn't matter. I love it. I love it.
Disrespect.
Thank you. Thank
Can't
you.
wait to see you in March.
Lovely. Thank
I
you. So
truly
all of
can't.
you, I can't wait. I just give you a good old hug. Please, viewers, listeners, there's been mic drop moment after mic drop moment. My request is when you turn off this recording, be still. Maybe go out in nature, put your feet on Mother Gaia, allow what's arising. Maybe it's a cry, maybe it's some fury, Maybe it's some inspiration. It's something, and I know it. So please allow this conversation to change literally the trajectory of your life. It just takes one little degree and a change, and everything will look different. So allow this conversation to nourish your soul's journey. Please learn more about Krista and her retreat coming up at itskrista.com. And until next time, thank you for letting me love the shit out of you, both you, Krista, and all of you viewers and listeners. Thank you, sister. See you next week on Intimate Conversations. Get out there and make love. Sometimes I forget how old I am. I still think I'm like in my 30s, but I'm not. I'm in my 50s. And I really enjoyed this conversation with Krista, co-host of Almost 30 podcast. And I just was thinking in reflection, I'm like, she's so young, but she's so wise. She's doing the work. And what an incredible conversation we can have as she has completed her divorce. And I'm not even going to say I hope it's her first and only divorce. Like, there's no judgment how we all grow as humans, whether we have all that growth in one relationship where we stay married the whole time, or whether we have several relationships or marriages where we continue to grow and bless and release one another and continue to evolve. I really respect her. I want you to be sure you check her out, follow her on social media, listen to her podcast, and if that retreat that we spoke of resonates with you, I want you to follow up on that. All the links are in the show notes for that. And then as I was looking back at the podcast, I'm like, damn, she's gorgeous. She's just so gorgeous. And I sometimes just need a little help as I get older. And can I love myself just as much the older I get? And I'll be honest, when I feel energized, all the aging things of menopause and hair growing out of strange places and various things, it doesn't bother me so much. But when I'm not energized and I'm a little more lackadaisical, or I can't seem to find that, joie de vivre, I can't find that energy, I feel more insecure. I really do. I think that's one of the reasons why I love my magic mind every morning. I literally, that's the first thing I do, is I go to the kitchen and I make my magic mind. Yes, it makes me feel more healthy if a cold is coming on. Yes, it helps me if I've got 2 podcasts in a day. But I gotta say, the first thing, it just makes me feel alive and vibrant, which makes me feel beautiful and happy and able to take risks and able to let things go. So I love the company and how they love you through me, and they've given me the ability to give you half off, 50% off when you say yes to a subscription, and I think it's 20% off when you say yes to just give it a go, give it a try. So those links and codes, etc. Ooh, it's so windy. Can you hear all the wind chimes going? So lovely. It's a warm breeze. So all those show codes and links are in the show notes. So get your magic mind so you can feel this energy and flow and focus of being alive no matter what your age. Follow Krista. Check out her wonderful retreat that's coming up. And lastly, if anything there is that I can do for you, if you're ready to join this incredible community, if you're ready to become the one so that you find the one, if you're ready to fall madly in love with exactly who you are, let me know. Go to the site. You can register for an intimacy breakthrough experience call with me. You can just send a little message to the contact form. You can, watch some more podcasts, watch some more videos. I'm here for you, and I love you.